Welcome everyone, it's Evelyn from Twin Flames 3344. I have a Divine Masculine Twin Flame read in front of you. It's a very special read today, so I would definitely stay tuned. Let's see, we started, well, today is January 4th, 2020, so that's the 1 month, this new month of the Magician, the 4 of the Emperor, and the 2020 is again that 4 year, so 4-4 should be an interesting time. We have the day adding up to the 9, so we have the 4 and the 9. That it just comes to me that those are two of my special numbers. So the Emperor and the Hermit, very much referencing the masculine and the divine feminine. The SIRIAN Starseed deck, which is the main deck in the read, was cut at 1050 to 51, which is the 10 of Cups, emotional fulfillment, and 51, the King of Swords, being in his truth today. He is upright. And then 11:19, the read was done at 11:19 to 20, and I got up, my clock was wrong, it wasn't actually 11:19 when I woke up, but that's what my clock said. I actually woke up before that. But the read was also at 11:19, so that was very significant, 11 being justice and 19 the sun, and then to 20, which is the judgment. So before I get into the read, I did just meditate for you guys to see what the message was. So I went into my little girl today and my little boy to see what they were doing. And I didn't see her at first, and at first I was feeling dizziness, like things were confusing or dizzy or things were spinning around. And then I saw the feminine as a little girl, and I was seeing digging, and then I realized that on the masculine side on the right, but just to the right of the center, the masculine was digging up the past, all right? So they were digging, and the feminine was a little girl. He wasn't as little as she was. She was her little girl, and she was trying to get his attention. She kept, tapping on his shoulder, say, look, to look over on the left side up in the sky. And she kept going back and forth because he wouldn't look. He just kept digging up the past. And so she's going back and forth, she on the left and him on the right, and she keeps going over and tapping him on the shoulder, look up, look up. And then I was getting, it's a bird, it's a plane, look, it's Superman. As she flies up, like she's trying to show him, look up here, go fly, go fly. It was really cute. And then she's apparently, it's not time quite yet. So she's feeling frustrated. So I saw her, I left the situation where she's sitting there, just frustrated, like a little girl would. She doesn't know what to do. It was very cute. So this message is very detailed. There's a lot of stuff that comes up here. They could be wounds, and a lot of it has to do with drugs and some sexual wounds too. So if you have little kids around that you don't want to listen to this, you might want them to leave the room. Let's see here. 11:19 to 20, the read for the Divine Masculine. We have the major arcana of transition, which is smack in the middle of the read. And in the SIRIAN Starseed deck, it's very much the portal, walking through the portal, the transition. We have higher self. We have the Chariot, we have Solar Deity, which is the sun, and then after the read, I also have Indigo up here, which is like the Magician in this deck. So we have Scorpio, Pisces, Cancer, so all the water energy is very significant, and then also Leo from the sun, and then for the Magician, Gemini, but I also get Virgo and Aries at times. So those are the main energies for the main read. I use all of the mini tarot, so we always have all the cards out at once. So you don't want to reference what's there and not there because the mini cards have the whole entire deck out. But the main read, those are the main energies. And then let's see, was there anything else? There was weird stuff coming up on TV yesterday too. Like stuff it was definitely sexual stuff was coming up, scary stuff, demon stuff, and there's definitely some dark energies popping up to see if you'll feed into it. Like, and that comes up in the read too, like the crocodile, like why would you entertain a crocodile? He just wants to eat you. So that kind of stuff was coming up from the dark side yesterday. So just knowing your knowing, and not feeding into stuff that you don't resonate with. And we had 2 swords, 2 cups, 1 pentacle, and 2 wands today, which is very well distributed, very even as far as balance, in a balanced way. The least was the 1 pentacle, so least dealing with money and practical affairs today, even work. wasn't a main focus today. Two of Swords, Two of Cups, and two Wands were present. We have, as far as the court cards today, the Page of Swords and the Knight of Cups and the Page of Cups. So 2 pages and a knight. And by the way, all 3 of those were upright, including the Knight of Cups. Before the read, the Queen of Swords also presented herself, and after the read, we have the Page of Pentacles, which was reversed. The King and Queen of Pentacles are upright today. So this, the code line and the numbers were all about perseverance and healing today for the Divine Masculine. And remember, this is a general read for Divine Masculine, but also to the masculine within the feminine, because you share a higher self. It's always going to affect each other. And if it doesn't resonate with you, don't force it to fit, because there's a lot of you out there, so it may not be your wound or your thing to deal with or your actual circumstance today. So the numbers and the code line involving perseverance and healing, let's see, the numbers were, 1 was the only number on the code line, so it was all about that 1, that masculine energy and that unity consciousness. And we also had 2212, which is the Fool and the Hangman. So opening your heart to take that leap of faith without hanging in limbo, right? But hanging is okay. You can be still without being in limbo if you're at 0 point, if you're present, right? If you're in that vacuum, in the vortex. So hanging out, there's nothing wrong with it, as long as you're not hanging out dwelling on the past or looking for outcomes in the future, right? It's about everything being present. And the Fool is just an open heart and taking a leap of faith, where you want to go, how you want to be loved, how you want to express your creativity. We have 44, which is the 4 of Cups, the mastering and grounding and integrating that we're doing on the Twin Flame journey. We have that 12 as a separate number came out, the Hangman, the 4 and the 9 separately, the Emperor and the Hermit. And this is in addition to the date. They have nothing to do with the date today. So the 4 and the 9 both came out separately and individually today. Very important. And then we have the 2 as well, the High Priestess, and the 1, the Magician and the High Priestess. So all 4 of those players came out by themselves today. 24 is the Queen of Wands. 49 is the 9 of Cups, the Get Your Wish card. 79 is the Pot of Gold at the end of the rainbow for me. And then 47 is the 7 of Cups, the Synchronicities. So in this code about perseverance and healing, the message was pretty simple today, and it needed no clarifying. The temperature rises in the melding between the masculine and the feminine, and I discussed that this week before. The fusing of the 2 energies, of the masculine and his higher self, the feminine. We have the temperature rising in the southeast, so the southeast of the country might be coming up here, and the Sophia energy, the higher self aces seeing negative spirits, right? Also persevering and healing past that. So when you see that crocodile, you just walk on by it. You don't even entertain it. So you're getting really good, Divine Masculines, at seeing what, the illusion and negative energies around you, right? What to entertain and what not to entertain, right? So if you walk by a girl with no clothes on, and you're in a relationship, obviously you walk on by, right? Because that's a temptation. Why would you want to feed yourself to that temptation? It's only going to take you down, just like the crocodile is going to eat you, right? So the fusing of the Sophia, and the Sophia is also coming up as the saint he, right? The saint of himself, right? His higher self. Fusing of Sophia, or in other words, the higher self, and selling your face to see the perseverance and healing take place. The face of Sophia, your divine feminine side, the mother of the mother-father, God energy, the love energy, the source energy, toggling up the he, higher self. Aces, the divine feminine. Okay, so it's about melding your 2 energies together. When you're able to meld your energies together in total love and forgiveness, that's when you can come together to be able to stay in the same space with each other, because you've already done this in the etheric realms. So again, all around perseverance and healing, not giving up each other, not giving up on the other, not giving up healing yourself and the other. Okay, melding the 2 temperatures of the masculine having a short fuse and the feminine having a long fuse in order to average them. So it's a little bit more for the feminine, a little less for the masculine, so that you become perfectly balanced. Okay? So starting the read, it was all about the, we start on the Page of Swords, which is the news, the message, spreading the word. It could be a child who likes to speak or communicate. But remember that a child's communication is immature, just like an online message, a tweet, right? A text or an email. That's immature communication because it's not direct. The center of this energy, like I said, is the transition card or the death card. So it's all about the major transformation happening today, and the challenge being your higher self, Divine Masculine, which is your twin. So the Page of Swords starts out this read, and right after I started at 11:39, I heard geese fly by. So obviously they're flying south, and southeast was coming up today. 11 is justice, and 39 is that Knight of Cups, who is in the foundation of the read today. Justice in that offer of love and of being love, allowing love as well. News, message, child, or spreading the word. The Queen of Swords was out in the cold, abandoned, without a home perhaps, but synchronicities and options for them to come clean and get clean had presented themselves to them. Or a child presented the information to the mother and child before the underlying energy had some communication. The child dealing with their mother, where both were left behind, seeing synchronicities or their guidance, dreams of choices that they can have only if they come clean or get clean. Sneakiness or coming clean by spreading the word. The family is happy with the rainbow above, at rest, sleeping in, or found happiness through meditation. It helped them get clean. So some people may be realizing that it's actually making a big difference in their life. The Fool is free at home, all exposed, sunshine and roses, kids with whistleblower, with epiphanies, or that whistleblower causing sudden explosions, eruptions, their crown to blow, or blowing their cover. Holding back money and or a new life, magnetizing coin, or just playing ball, perhaps hardball. Losing hope and or depressed, and seed was coming up when I wrote depressed, right, when you plant the seed. Getting over the grieving process, about news, sneakiness, or coming clean, or purifying. That word was very important today. Sundowning was also coming up, and then I was getting don't let the sun go down on me. So there's definitely mother and son issues coming up around rape, incest, being a gigolo, male strippers, to earn extra money with sometimes sex on the side, earning more money, and loss of money due to their heads being in the clouds, into cotton fields, cocaine, or poppy fields, or of gray, right? Making everything hazy and dizzy, spinning around. That's like what I was seeing with the Divine Feminine in the beginning with the masculine, that things were just spinning around in the poppy fields. And maybe they were in the poppy fields when he was digging and she was trying to get him to look up on the left. The bird flying south, snowbirds falling from the sky, Lucy in the sky with diamonds, and selling all her family jewels. After stuck at Delta Dawn. Delta Dawn can be the pooling of the water where it gets all gross, like the creek, because it doesn't move. But also it's the time before the sun comes up. It's like that reset in the morning, what makes everything new and fresh this morning? How does it change from last night? Well, the early morning hours before, at the Delta Dawn, is that reset hour, right? It's like that, when Cinderella turns into, back into her regular self at midnight. It's the same idea as the Delta Dawn. It's a reset. Now finally coming out of the Y in the road. Not being stuck anymore. No more pooling and sunning and stunning. Traveling south, just left of the middle, perhaps Texas or Louisiana. Leaks out of control, unable to get or keep up with damage control, right? So if you're being sneaky or lying or you have addictions, you always have to live looking over your shoulder and keeping up damage control. And this is where the masculine can no longer keep up damage control, that the leaks are out of control, and he can no longer plug them up. And then Honey Bear was coming up. Honey Bear, you almost had your hooks. You almost had your hooks in me, didn't you, dear? You nearly had me roped and tied, right? So Elton was coming up here. Altar bound, hypnotized. Sweet freedom whispered in my ear, you're a butterfly. And butterflies are free to fly, fly away, high away, bye-bye. And that was at noon, right? So I was just talking about Cinderella at midnight. And here at midnight, or in high noon, whichever you like, the masculine's talking about someone who almost had their hooks in him, right? Almost had him roped and tied, controlled, married, and hypnotized when sweet freedom whispered in his ear that he's a butterfly, that he needs to transform, that it's time for him to transform, to fly away and leave, go bye-bye. And then crocodile's smile was coming up. Never smile at a crocodile. And this is from Peter Pan, right? The one who never wants to grow up. Their welcome grin. He's imagining how well you'll fit in his skin, from Peter Pan. Don't even think of entertaining them. They'll take you right in. Issues at work, losing money, leaving, or needing to change things up, not getting along, third party or interference at work, and the King of Cups, who's a loving man, and the Hermit below, who's wise with light and shedding it on the escape artist. Freedom from prison, leaving work, frees you from anxiety. Wedding comes up as well, expressing your love. The King of Wands is affectionate, but the Hierophant or Taurus is not. The King of Cups, nurturing and loving, is putting it out there, putting their butt on the line, on the fence, at the gate. But watch out for that Taurus energy with narcissistic tendencies, or that Taurus with a father like that. She may coddle to pacify you and then is right out there again showing her butt to other men, or flirtatious and then tells you what to do, is bossy, controlling, using her wiles to get what she wants, keeping you at the gate, vacillating, confusing you, making you dizzy, whether to go in or out. When she confuses you, she does that to knock you off your balance on purpose, so then she can, use you as she wants. Hiding desserts and tweets, texts and emails, and hiding spell work, scissors, magnet, and coin up on the brick and stone pillar. And a pillar can be a pillar of the community, using feng shui to control you in some way. The bird feeder, the signpost, anything she freaks out about because you've moved it 1 inch, and that could be you too. But remember though, it's not intended for the good of the whole, it's intended for her goals alone, and this was coming up specifically from the cards today. There's nothing wrong with feng shui, but don't assume that someone feng shuiing is doing it for the good of the whole family. This one's coming up is doing it for their own selfish goals. They don't want it to help the family, and they may even be doing it to harm the family to keep them under her control. Whether she or her family has the financial control, or you do, she'd gladly pacify and service you to get her way. There is an agenda here. Individuality comes up here, and beneath that was adventure. Individuality comes up as 11, the Justice, and adventure comes up as 55, the Ace of Swords, the Truth. Excalibur needing to be pulled from the stone, or has been, and the Excalibur and the stone comes up as the divine feminine sword in the divine masculine sword in the divine feminine. So basically it has to do with the wound of being stoned, right, in public, or the masculine having betrayed the feminine in the very first wound between them in public. So she turns to stone around the sword that he places in her. So when he wakes up, he's able then to pull the sword out of her, right, to take it away, to correct the wrongs, to make them right again, and then she becomes alive again. It's like Pinocchio becoming the real boy, only she becomes a real live girl because now he takes what was done away from her. So forgiveness is called for here to the divine masculine, but not at your expense. Forgiveness is for your freedom, for your peace of mind and clarity. Be authentic to your sense of adventure. Grieving prior to this is the Emperor reversed and their abuse of power. The King of Wands reversed, player, holding back money and new life, or controlling you, or your own control issues and now falling short, unable to keep up the way you used to. And that's at 1229, the Hangman and the present moment, the Three of Wands. Finally, the masculine being present to what's really going on around him. choosing new path, the winged emerald order. As I'm losing my voice, Major Tom, this is losing his voice, saying Major Tom has decided to stay in space with elevated family, his higher self calling him, the King of Swords, home, called to action. And then I was getting the tenor's song, Angels Calling. So if you've never heard that song, you must, because it's so beautiful. So listen to that song from the tenors, Angels Calling. And the last line of the song is calling me home. So the King of Swords is being called home. The Holy Grail is upside down. It is my job as the masculine to right the wrongs, to turn the cup upright, right? So the Ace of Cups is reversed. And remember, when I was on the plane flying out west, I received a reading between Jesus and Mary Magdalene about their life. And part of that was before union, that the Ace of Cups would be reversed, that the feminine would be pushed downward in order for the masculine to have to raise her up. So his Holy Communion would be then fed into the cup from below in order to right the wrongs, to make the cup go upright again. But she has to fall in order for him to meet her in energy, okay? So that was coming up again here as well. So it is my job as the masculine to right the wrongs, to turn the cup upright. Carry on and go with the flow. Wherever the journey takes me, that's where I'll go. The King of Swords stands before God, source, love, and allows, shedding the old wings and about to take off on gossamer wings. The King of Swords and the Page of Swords. So after coming clean to the mother, does so with the father, this Page of Swords, or the message, to end the grieving process and free self from the prison of anxieties and fears. The Queen of Swords and the King of Swords, both with the same message of clarity and coming together. Or recognizing this, the masculine's realizing that we're both getting the same message, but it also has to do with the masculine dealing with the mother and the father. The grounding and integrating an offer of love to be the individual that you are and choose for yourself without interference from a mother or father or anyone else. The recent past is the Chariot upright, the masculine being bold and sure, grounding and integrating an offer of love, or allowing the divine feminine to ground and integrate now his offer of love. The Queen of Swords, while the Queen of Swords speaks to others, will she address your offer of crocodile tears? The Queen of Swords speaks of the juggler, and the jugular keeps wanting to come up, right? Getting someone by the jugular, by the neck. The Queen of Swords speaks of the juggler displaying that high vibration while using their low vibration to carry the burdens, and bourbon was coming up here as well, to carry the hard labor, the slave labor, the banging his head on the wall, to finally see the writing on the wall. And if you've never listened to that song, that's one of the James Bond movie themes. Listen to Writing on the Wall. Over the loss and regret, to express feelings or energy exchange, the arrows of love to the world and to the sealed divine feminine. Sitting in uncomfortable emotions of the awakening, or hearing the call, and ready to defend his truth, whether it hurts other people's feelings or not. The bold move to spread the word of love, the foundation being the Knight of Cups upright, destined to a higher love, without affection and losing hope, injustice of overwork or losing work. The Knight of Cups is rising up to be love, despite all of that, destined to offer love to his higher self, or in other words, his twin. The central energy is the transition portal, complete transformation, death, and coming full circle. The cycle complete with synchronicities, seeing the writing on the wall, the damage done, the painful end, the betrayal, the lower back pain, and the treatments that go with it. And offering love to the Queen of Pentacles' deep connection, sharing energy with the divine feminine back and forth. Defenseless to the Ten of Pentacles family, the legacy, and the challenge being the higher self and the hermit shedding light on him working too hard or not at all at the moment. No options, but inspired to stand up to mother or empress, and or inspired to ask hermit perhaps on a date, or perhaps just to take a walk out in the cold to get past the deception, or do it before the sunrise, something different to do. The King of Swords stands in his truth, up to the Emperor reversed, about or in his higher self, exposing all, sunshine, kids, sharing with others, epiphanies or traumas you've been through. And that was at 120, the Magician and Judgment. Sudden explosions, eruptions, and events. Events with wealthy families. At 120, again, the Magician and Judgment, right? The judgment of wealthy families. But the experience of the masculine with other wealthy families or big businesses, or sudden inheritance or windfall, and in allowing the crown and the cover to blow, right? So for the masculine letting himself be fully exposed. For the masculine, it might have blew your mind that she could possibly be everything you were looking for. Injustice exposed and having to extend an olive branch in undercover romance, flirtation at work, and abuse of power, third-party interferences, financial issues, and not getting along, or left work to no longer align with negative energies. The Page of Pentacles reversed, in need of help, money, or an opportunity, a child in need of help with school, or one who never learns their lessons, could be seen as an opportunist. Always rising on the shoulders of another, the Taurus, Hierophant marriage, religion, tradition, establishment, or societal norms, always your guidance system, Divine Masculine, as opposed to your own and going within. Deception, or the time before dawn, comes clarity about inspiration and new passion, desire, drive, and creativity, an offer from a deep connection deep within to the Queen of Cups with the other cup of his. Now is the Page of Cups upright, a message of love. This is crowning. Pure open heart, and the group heart was coming up right here. I didn't get a song, but heart was coming up just because it's called heart. New love, puppy love, the youngest child, or Pisces energy, Jesus in the manger. The offer of truth to the Queen of Wands reversed, about loss of wealth, abundance, dysfunctional family, or a business going under. There's no legacy left here. The worst is over in a family, a betrayal, or business. And released from prison, anxiety, fear, the Knight of Swords is now standing in his truth. Home with or at the home of Taurus, marriage, religion, establishment, doing what's expected by society. The Page of Cups, sitting in difficult emotions, defenseless because they don't want to hurt her feelings, but he now must not care. He must stand in his truth and be his truth first, above all else. Or in other words, being authentic to self. That doesn't mean you're not being truthful and loving, but truthful and loving, your truth and loving, may hurt another's feelings, and that's okay. No one can ever fault you for being truthful and loving at the same time. There's no more serving the partner at home or at the workplace, who must now do their fair share. The sovereign is insecure due to chaos and detox and manipulations, defenseless to the energies and attacks, the spying and the taking of money from the workplace, or children taking money from parents that doesn't belong to them, expressing feelings of passion and right elbow pain perhaps, which is funny because my shoulder is really getting there. I don't have full range of motion yet, but I still get that funny bone pain when I put my elbow down on the table, and that's right where this is talking about. Expressing feelings of passion and that right elbow pain, which is the masculine side, and that comes up as something part of the DNA, the funny bone. Maybe that's to do with your sense of humor. Inflammation due to Taurus or guidance, unable to find peace in deception, and the masculine letting go of holding on to the little that's being offered to him in order to fix, repair, mend, and make amends for lack of peace that was caused in a deception. He is destined to another world of 5D to complete this cycle and come full circle. Soon for the masculine is the Ace of Pentacles reversed, so that new beginning or infusion of money is not quite here yet, but happy with himself and saving his coin and possibly playing ball. The Empress is out in the cold, or letting others go in deception, or forced to get up before the sun to go to work now with the rest of the workforce. The Divine Masculine now has time alone, at 151 is the Magician and the King of Swords, him being in his truth along with his magical abilities. Protecting freedom from kids, so maybe he needs quiet time without the kids, or securing the kids' freedom and or twins' freedom by standing in his truth prior to initiating this new life. Not passing the baton directly to the next person, right? Not having that next opportunity before he lets go of the last, but rather taking a break from the baton for clarity about who you are and what you want. And the twins both are abandoned and destined to be schooled by Akashics, the school of hard knocks, lessons from the playground during intermission between classes, that 3-minute break to get to the next. It's never direct. There's always a break in between, like the valves of the vein. You never keep going and going. There's always a transition station where you're not connected to either, and you can actually jump dimensions at that point as well and not be on the same track at all. The Divine Masculine is the solar deity. He's seeing himself as the sun, fully exposed with good news, success, and leading the way to the King of Wands, possibly with a proposal, whether that's someone else or himself. Coming together with the Queen of Cups without interference, the Dark Knight and the Knight of Swords, or Messenger of Truth, have some emotions to clear, to purge together or duke it out. So this can be a Divine Feminine, or it can be a sibling or someone else that the Masculine needs to settle things with before he goes forward. Both have been pushed to their emotional limits. Calling in your soulmate, Divine Masculine, as well as finances and career, that they're affecting your love life. There is chemistry here, let go of control, and the final card here is true love, that this is a romance of a lifetime. Romance of a lifetime. Around the Divine Masculine, or how he is seen, is the Two of Swords reversed. That clarity in judgment, that clarity in announcements, the clarity in the call to action, to wake up, it's time to go and heal and forgive. It's time for school. Your cross to bear, honey bear. How do you wake your children up in the morning? Honey bear, sweet kisses, and to wake the kids up before school, to be told what to be and what to know and what to do, right? That's the kids go to school to be told who they are. Be clear on what you want and know so that you can make the most of your schooling. Clear the blocks of the Four of Wands home, Divine Masculine. The King of Pentacles with the Ten of Pentacles family, right? This is the dream family of wealth and security. But you see the King of Pentacles upright and the Ten of Pentacles upright, along with the Temperance card reversed, which is impatience and loss of temper. Do you equate wealth and abundance with one who is impatient and loses their temper and are fallen angels, right? So the dark side only are wealthy. Are you impatient with your kids due to your own wealth? Are you impatient with your twin? Do you deem them as obstacles to your further abundance? Wanting to be a free agent so no one can take your root, safety and security issues, which is Human 101, how to survive on this planet, the ability to survive in this world. That fallen angel wants to steal your abundance, your family abundance, and possibly your children? Maybe you're worried the Divine Feminine thinks that of you, that you are untrustworthy and just want her security, or in other words, her dowry, which is another wound. Because others before your twin didn't love you without money or social security. Systems in place. Healing and persevering for the masculine here. Reunion with the Empress. So someone may need to come together with a mother, an aunt, a grandmother, an old professor, or someone you have some kind of close tie to. But I don't like this Empress. She's the one from the Tarot of Sexual Magic, and she has evil intent. So there's a reunion with an Empress who you may or may not want to have a reunion with. There's definitely a sexual undertone. It's like the the mother wound, that the mother always looks for a woman like their mother. So there's that sexual connotation around this person. And it may have been for some masculines who lost their virginity to a much older woman. It could be someone like that. And it brought to mind the 50 Shades of Grey, where he had this relationship with this older woman who basically controlled him his whole life. So the Wounded Warrior in surrender to the 5D world, offering the third energy, to the 5D world, offering to him this third energy, right? The quanta, the true intimacy and love and intuition with a partner. Was there an older woman who broke you in sexually? Were you a sex slave under ownership? Or do you want 5D love, healing, mother, daughter, and sister issues, and surrendering to this destined connection after fighting with the 5 wands, and this was at 216, which is the High Priestess and the Tower. After fighting with your psychic abilities and the epiphanies, or the Viking princess and the drama of the Tower events. After going through all this, surrendering to their destined connection, after fighting the 5 of Wands, the constant battling and conflict, the competition, and the game playing, finally got away with not the 5 wands, but the 1 wand. The 1. The third energy of the loving woman. No more being in bed with the mother-daughter team, offering more projects and conflicts for him. Surrendering to the Page of Pentacles reversed, to the inner child in need of help, suffering in silence, implementing a plan to get out of stuck emotions and thoughts, to find peace with their secret out. That those in need of help are deemed weak. And so he doesn't want to surrender, right? But he is surrendering here. He is allowing himself to ask for help. Indigo reversed, which is those insecurities which can cause manipulations, could be a loss of tools, like not having the tools you need to make your next step, or literally somebody may have lost their tools of their livelihood in a break or divorce from a relationship or a business. The indigo reversed, insecure, brings manipulation. The Divine Masculine is coming out of the Batcave, which is the Divine Masculine's heart, to share what he's learned, opening his heart with twin and with kids. The Knight of Pentacles reversed is coming up as stubborn, resistant to change. When the Page of Cups offered love and backed it up with passionate movement, he was intimidated. The Knight of Pentacles not working, disabled, or on strike, while the Page of Cups and the Knight of Wands come to your rescue, kids or friends helping out, awakening to the surrendering, the ego, and now the masculine being present. Kids fully supportive, and the Page of Swords, message, and Knight of Cups, offer of love, exposed to all for clarity and a bold move, to transition through the portal and challenged by your own higher self. Delay in money or new life due to home and message of love, or child in surrender, or causing your surrender to need for help and insecurity, letting go of holding on to your heart, right, keeping it closed, and swearing never to give it away again, now opening it up to kids and or twin, the gift of the present moment. The Page of Swords news spreads fast and furious, with the Chariot and the King of Swords. The Knight of Cups offer of love and being love to all. Transition through the portal to that message of love, and the masculine's heart cracked wide open, and the challenge being his own higher self. Exposure to sunshine before the new life of surrender, clarity of what home truly is before surrendering completely to help and insecurities, and coming out of the Batcave, the Divine Masculine's heart, to the 6 of Cups, the big love of the twins, with a little help from your friends and possibly your kids as well. So that was the message, a really beautiful, like the energy totally shifted from yesterday to today, coming into this new year. There was a total shift of the masculine. And it was very interesting. I actually read the first half of this to my son before he went out for a run today because he wanted to hear it. And everything was right in line with what he was going through. So it was very interesting. I'm going to show you the cards, but I want to pull you some oracle cards first. It's 3930, which is that Knight of Cups and the union energy of the 4 of Wands. Not a bad message there. All right, so where am I going to start with you guys today? We'll start with the Animal Tarot. That's always a nice, friendly place to start. So for everyone watching, the best and highest good of all is concerned. What do we need to know? What do we need to learn? And let's clear all negative energies across all dimensions of time, space, matter, and reality for the highest good of all is concerned. And fill that empty space with only beautiful divine love and diamond crystalline light. Let the sun shine. And so it is. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, so for all of these decks, they're all clear. And this is for this read today, January 4th, 2020. What is our 2020 vision? Our 2020 vision, what do we need to know? What are we going to school for today? I'm just getting to, and that parallel about the baton, that the baton is actually the break time itself. It's like the valve. The baton is that time where you can be apart from both sides. It's time to just be you, like that moment between, like the moment before midnight, the 11th hour. It's the same thing as that moment between, what the baton actually represents, the DNA strand. So this comes out for you guys, 5 of Autumn. The manatee. It's all green, you notice, very heart-based. He's very cute. Focusing upon the negative or worrying about money or your career can block your progress because your trust and faith are at a low point right now. It is not the best time to start your own business or become self-employed. Okay, so if you're feeling in negative energy, it's not a good time to start. We have the High Priestess coming out here too, which is the number 2, and the Owl. Okay, it's a time to pause and reflect, not to take action. Trust in your spiritual gifts, as nothing is hidden from your divine intuition. Okay, and there is a note there too. Could be a love note. Could be some creativity, some writing or music. And then we have the butterfly again of the complete transformation, which is confirming that in the middle of the read today, the transition portal. And this is from the old to the new, because, you know, the pillars very much represent the old, like, you know, the Colosseum. And then we have, there's a new moon in the sky here with the eclipse that we just passed. So it's like, let the past be in the past. You know, you take your wisdom and allow yourself to completely transform. Okay? And this is like past writing as well. Let the past be in the past. Let the Dead Sea Scrolls stay in the past. And you see the rippling effect that they have when you stay in that water. When you stay in that delta, it gets all murky and yucky. So be free yourself from that to be in the new. Be wise. Know that you have all the information yourself. And then the third card is the Hermit, the 9. All right, perfect. The High Priestess and the Hermit. So now the Hermit becomes the masculine and the High Priestess is the feminine. Or vice versa. But Firefly. So another butterfly is in this picture. Take time for contemplation. To retreat and go within. Be a beacon for others on their path to spiritual enlightenment. Okay? So be the beacon. And it says firefly, but that looks, I guess the fireflies are all these little things zipping around, but you have a butterfly up there too, which is pink. Very much of compassion. And it's actually the pale pink, the rose pink, and the magenta together as the beacon of light. Okay? And they're like fireworks. Let's see what the manatee. The manatee's just all heart-based. He's just a big lump. He looks like a kind of a poop. He's kind of a phallic symbol as well. We have the all right, so I see the manatee, which is big and grounded. Then the owl with wings flying and being wise. And then the butterfly, which is fully etheric and transformational as the beacon of light. All right, so you see the transformation here, right? It's right. This is the grounding. Really, look, he's at the deepest ocean depths to taking flight and then being the beacon of light up in the air. The transformation. That's a beautiful message. Wow, wasn't expecting that. The bottom of the deck is renewal with the raccoons who are sneaky, and there's another butterfly. It's time to get clarity about your life purpose and make changes so that you're on the path most divinely suited to you. Forgive what has been without judgment and fearlessly embrace what's to come. Okay. Allow the full transformation. Oh, they're so cute. And it's definitely around families, right? And allowing the family and your kids to transform as they want, not as you see them. Like they don't always have to look just like you, right? Because here the child looks exactly like the parents. You don't have to look like your parent. They should love you no matter what. Okay? You should be able to look like the butterfly and they should still love you. That's the unconditional love. All right, so let's see. What is your yoga position today? What is your yoga position? What do you advise? Mother, Father, Christus, Sophia, love, source, God. What is it that you advise as far as yoga positions today for everyone? What do we need to clear? What part of the body is it? Take a deep breath, you guys. All right. Here it is. Okay, so it's moved. I think there's one card, maybe two. There's two cards here. So with your legs to the side, lying down flat on your back, and then the instructions are on this side for the reclining spinal twist. Okay, so that's one. And the other one is this one. All right, so stretching your legs. So again, this is about stretching your back and your ribs and your hips. Because your hips, you know, that's the midpoint of your body, sitting forward bend. So there's the instructions if you'd like to read them. Okay, so you have two positions to stretch side to side, and that feels so good when you put your legs side to side. And then the forward stretch, okay. All right, so then we have the energy deck, energy oracle. What do we have from here? Take another deep breath. Alrighty, we have 23, all tied up, right? This is the crocodile. This is the crocodile, Divine Masculine. Are you going to save this? This is a test question. Are you going to save this? 23, King of Wands, right? The temptation. That is the question, right? The one who says, poor pitiful me, strong man, right? Kissing up to you. Are you going to feed into that when they should be able to save themselves? But she doesn't want to save herself. She wants you to do the work. We have 28 coming up here as well. Victory. All right, and here's that Caesar energy, right? Caesar's crown. But changing the crown. The 28 of the twin flames, the 2 of wands, and victory of the twins. It's like metal scroll work too. Metal scroll work is important for someone. I don't know if someone makes things with metal. One of the masculines, or a few of you out there. There's definitely a lot of scroll work here. And it even could be these like gold leaf scrolls, or actually these could be real gold. Really beautiful. Or actually gold leaves to make this crown. And I'm getting like leftovers from Christmas, like this is holly with the berries on it. Like taking something old and making it into something beautiful. So there's victory in alchemization. Alchemizing whatever to gold. You've transferred your spirit. You've transformed. You've transitioned into victory. One more wants to come out, is walking away, number 27, which is that Ace of Wands, the third energy, right? And walking away when you need to. So, right, when the crocodile comes up and says, save me, even if you're a girl or a guy, it doesn't matter. You're like, no, thank you. I'm good. And there is your victory. Very good, boys and girls. The bottom of the deck is patience, Number 16, which is the Tower, which is epiphanies, but it's also drama. So do you want the drama of the 3D or the epiphanies of the 5D? And there's the clock of the time in the 3D or the angelic realm in the 5D. Patience. And this came up with the masculine, right? Deeming certain things as impatient, that impatience is a fallen angel. And maybe the masculine has been taught that anyone who's not patient is the devil, because they're seeing that as the fallen angel. Also, you know, being conflicted about angelic energy and time, because that's of the earthly realms. But you are multidimensional beings combining the angelic realms and the earthly realms, and to have patience with yourselves as well. All right? To have patience in learning how to discern for victory, right? And this goes from 23 to 27 and 28. 23 is the King of Wands, 27 is the Ace of Wands, and then the Twins. Here's the third energy, and you walking away, being in 5D and having victory over the 3D. Very interesting. I'll do a quick one from the Kipper deck. And then I'm going to do both other decks, I think. We'll do the Nature's Whispers and the Metatron deck. All right, so for everyone, this is the Kipper deck. What is the message from the Kipper deck? That came right out, the pathway. Perfect. And look at that, the gift of the moment. Wow, sudden wealth. 777s, guys. Okay. The underlying energy is that child energy. It's just like the little girl that I saw in my meditation, right? Trying to get the masculine to see up in the sky. Look at Superman. All right. The little girl waiting for the divine masculine to transform. Okay. And she is of great fortune. She's worth her weight in gold. That's definitely representative of the feminine and her inner child waiting on waiting on, these are the next cards, waiting on the masculine to deal with his energies of despair on the journey that he still has to go through in order to come into the main male energy and come home. Okay? So that's the masculine finishing up his journey while the feminine waits with her great fortune to hold him. Okay, really nice. All right, now we have Nature's Whispers. It was just 5305. 53 is the catapult. It's the Knight of Swords. It's also considered that catapult, you know, coming in really fast, which is like the Knight of Swords. And the 5 is that expansion energy. Excitement, change, freedom. That Hierophant energy of God, of commitment to yourself, to your higher self. That the old isn't just the old of the 3D, it's the old of what you began with, right? You began in a much higher realm. And that's where you're returning to. The very, very old. But making it new at the same time. So let's see here. All right, that wants to come out for sure. There's let's see, 1, 2, there's 3 sets of cards that came out. The underlying energy here at the bottom is Renewal of Peace, which is 13. That's that transition card in the middle of the read today, right? So the birth, coming out of the newborn, right? This is the trunk of the tree, and the new birth out of the old. And there's such pretty wings here. So we have all the little animals coming to see the new baby. And that was coming up today as Page of Cups being the Jesus baby in the manger. Well, this is like replicating that as the masculine being reborn. And all of the little baby animals are coming out to see. Look! Renewal of peace. and Spirit's connecting with me. So the first two cards that come out are both similar colors. They're a little bit different. It's blue. It's all of that, like, that French blue to purple color. We have 4 and 36, which is the end of the masculine's burdens, the Emperor, and the 10 of Wands. And again, this is about the feminine energies coming out of the masculine. Yesterday, these came up about all the pastel colors and how good they look against the masculine browns and greens, and how she's growing up. And this is the little girl. And the little girl of the feminine who needs to take care of the masculine after he's reborn, to nurture him, and then into his intuition, okay? Helping him blossom into his full divine feminine, right? And him also helping her at the same time come into her full feminine. And there's such bright light. Look at the fullness. Look at the light radiating from them. It's about all the colors and the flowers, and this is all animals. It's like Noah's Ark. And then here's all the flowers and the butterflies. And here's then all the rainbow bridge that's across her head. It's about going, and this is just like the timeline of the divine feminine itself. From the baby feminine to the child, to her and her power. And now her showing the masculine the way of the feminine. Really beautiful. The full transformation of the Emperor to the 10 of Wands. The ability to carry the weight of the world upon your shoulders without feeling the weight of the world upon your shoulders. Illumination is the 2 of the High Priestess. Again, that feminine energy, the higher self. Okay, it's all about the butterfly again, or whatever bug this is, but they're still flying free. They're free, and you notice there's a rim around the moon. It's like the full moon eclipse. We're headed directly into the full moon eclipse. This is beautiful. Wow. So as we transition, the baby's also representing the new year. And as the feminine all of a sudden makes this huge transformation within the masculine. And then this is them flying together towards the eclipse, with the feminine still helping the masculine a little bit along to make the full transformation into the feminine. And then these last two cards came up. Spirit's still connecting with me. We have Inner Truths of a child, and this is like me looking in to see what my little girl is doing. So she's on the left, and like I said before, the masculine would have been over here digging up the old, and there's a boat right here. I didn't notice that before. This is actually water right here, and there's a boat waiting for them. She's waiting for the masculine to be ready and stop digging up the past and become Superman. So cute. She has the candle lit and waiting. And that's 16 of the Tower of the Epiphanies. And then here we have, there's a bunch of lion energy in this one. Contemplation of 29 is the present moment. So while she's waiting for the masculine, she's not. She's going inward to contemplate all of the strength that she is. The lion is coming out. This is very much about Lionsgate as well, because we have the Olympics this year, which is all about strength, right? And power. That the power doesn't lie in controlling other people, it lies in controlling yourself, which is what an Olympic athlete does. They're mastering control of themselves. And let's see, we have, oh, very interesting. There are two female lions, right? This one's being tempered. This beast is being tempered, and that's like the lion card, the Leo card of strength. And then there's a separate lioness just waiting. It's like she's trying to control him, and she's waiting for him to transform, because she knows that he will on his own. She's allowing him to transform and fully develop before coming forward. So that parallels too with my message of the little girl and little boy. So she's frustrated waiting for him, but she's also learning to be patient, to allow him to develop on his own, to come fully into his feminine, to transform and fly away. And they both, the two lines up top, both have the same This is actually a masculine line, but this is the partner trying to control the beast, right? Having him under control and a leash. And this is the divine feminine allowing him to be in his full power because she trusts him. It's really beautiful. Wow. If there's anything else you guys get, let me know. I'm just going to pull you a Metatron, and we just passed 1 minute too. So I guess that was 1 minute when that message came up. And the 1001. All right, Metatron, what is the last message from you for the Divine Masculine and everybody watching today for the best and highest good of all those concerned? Has fallen apart a little bit. Allow yourself to fall apart a little bit. All right. So from Metatron, what's our final message here today? Slow down and you'll go much further. And this is the card that wants to come out. Go with the flow and paddle on. 42 is the Two of Cups, guys. And look, this is so cool. There's a couple more cards that want to be seen, but I want to show you this. Where are you? Not that one. The cards are sticking together. Look. So here's the boat in her card, and here's go with the flow, paddle on, okay? So it's saying don't wait. He's getting ready, but go take a trip on a boat, have fun, see the mountains and the beauty of the water. Okay? Enjoy yourself. Don't limit yourself. All right, so that's the first one, 42, which is the Two of Cups. And then 3 cards came out together. This is the codependency, the key to freedom. Okay, so unlock yourself. That's 53, which is that catapult, the knight in shining armor, and the messenger of truth. The knight in shining armor can't rescue the other, and the messenger of truth can't force the other to see the truth. Karma and untying the knots, the 28. 28 is the twin flames, and there's the grid. This is also like an electric grid, you know, just like a hot plate or something, so that we're all connected. No worries. It's all destined to be. So untie the roots, right? You don't have to lock them together to know you're together. You just are. And then the third one is Akashic Records, number 12. That was 28. All right, so we had the knight in shining armor and the messenger of truth. Right? So one is the one who wants to rescue, and the other is masculine, the feminine, the one who needs to speak her truth in hopes that the masculine will understand. But you can't rescue one and you can't be saved. You have to rescue yourselves in order to come together. So here's the 28 of the twin flames, and then the 12 of the hanging man. Right? Seeing another perspective, evaluation and review, Akashic Records. It's saying one last review of the Akashic Records, going back to school. Right? That we're destined to be schooled by the Akashic Records. Evaluation and review. That's what the masculine's doing. He's going back to the Akashic Records when the feminine's been going through that this whole time. And ancestors, appreciation, and healing. 34 is the 8 of Wands. That is that expression of your feelings, the energetic exchange, and the hours of love and appreciation and healing throughout the generations, throughout all of Akashic Records. And you see the golden pink that is expressed there, which is that very high love of the Christ consciousness and compassion for all. Okay, so going back into the Akashic Records, this is the masculine having appreciation for all that others have gone through and healed for, so he could be where he is today, and also recognizing who he is by everything that has gone before him. And expressing those feelings. Okay, and then the bottom of the deck, this is the final energy, is very much in the purple energy, which the last one had purple too. So very much going back into the third eye to the crown. This is the crowning glory, right? The castle on top, the higher realms, and the magic of lilac, the 54, which is the card we started on with this read, the Ace of Swords, the truth, the message, the light, the castle in the sky. And again, here's that full moon with the ring around it, the eclipse coming up on the 10th. Very significant. And then with the 12th, with the conjunction of Saturn and Pluto, right? Or is that Jupiter and Pluto? I always get confused. Whichever one, you guys know. All right, so this we end up on top, in the crown, on the castle on top, the castle in the sky. Oh, very interesting. My mother, I wrote a song for my mother, and my mother always loved Les Mis. And one of the songs is Castle on a Cloud. And I wrote a song like Castle on a Cloud, but referencing my mother and what she dreams about, hanging out in a cloud. So very interesting that that came up. So anyway, this is all around the eclipse. There's so many energies that came up today that are pointing towards the 10th of the eclipse, and then the conjunction. So this is a major turning point for us. Okay, guys, I have to show you the cards before I forget. All right, so there's that Seeker of Orbs. That's the Page of Swords. Recent past is the Chariot. The foundation here is the Knight of Chalices, upright, with all those clarifications. And you see how the Knight comes out on top of the Knight as well, to the Queen of Pentacles and the Two of Cups and the Higher Self. So that was very cool. The transition is in the middle of the deck. You can't see it very well, but you see them walking through the portal there. The challenge being the Higher Self right now for the masculine. The other underlying energies, he's in his truth, you see, putting all that other stuff away, hearing the call. And then the Page of Cups, right? The Seeker of Chalices, opening their heart open wide and scrolling across to the Ace of Crystals, which is reversed today, and then the masculine seeing himself as the solar deity, the sun, fully exposed. And that's where you see him needing to hash it out with someone else, okay? The Dark Knight and the Knight of Swords, which has come up multiple times today. And then around him, or how he's seen, is that Two of Swords, which is reversed with clarity today. And then the Four of Wands is the block he needs to clear around wealthy families and impatience, fallen angels, right? And then the children and the twins are right there as well, and freedom of the Fool to take that leap and stand in his truth. Healing and perseverance there, okay? And then we end up on the Wounded Warrior, the Nine of Wands, which is reversed, which is good. That's the surrender. Above that is the Page of Pentacles, or that Seeker of Crystals is reversed. And then we have the Indigo reversed above that. And then this card here, which is actually, you see his face there, is the Bat Cave, the Divine Masculine's heart. And it was very interesting, along with the Six of Cups above that. That was the last card. So that's the Divine Feminine here, and that's the masculine in the Bat Cave in his heart. And that's the feminine holding on to him. Okay, and there's the Three of Wands. We end up at the end, and the clarity on your authentic self, your individuality. Really amazing read today, you guys. Okay. I'm out of breath. I didn't even run yet. Was there anything else that needs to be said? I don't think so. I kind of want to pull one last card from just my regular, my old Rider-Waite, my first deck, and see what it has to say. Okay, another card, just to see what it says. Oh, look, you guys. The Queen of Cups. Very interesting. I have to show you these cards because it is so like in line. All right, so the bottom of the deck is the Knight of Wands, which is the masculine falling short on energy, right? Or in that feminine could see him as playing her, still holding back his passions. And meanwhile, here comes out the front of the deck is the Queen of Cups, suffering in silence, waiting for that new life to occur, rising above, or no longer resting if you got enough rest, and rising above to be in that lover's energy, but feeling like a prisoner of love. That is the energy that's going on right now. So drink your water, get your rest, get your joy, get your nature, and rise and be love, you guys. I love you. Bye.